the Yankees just swept the Royals in Kansas City. 4-3, 15-1, and 7-0. And honestly, this may have been the most complete series the Yankees have played in a long time. Because this series had late game resilience, offensive explosion, dominant starting pitching, bullpen recovery, and contributions throughout the lineup. This didn't feel fragile. This didn't feel like survival baseball. This felt like a team that finally created margin. If we take a look at these games one at a time, the first game, we win 4-3. We had decent pitching from Will Warren. He went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 walks, 2 earned runs, and got 3 strikeouts. Bellinger went 1 for 4 with a home run. And with a tie game in the 8th inning, Bird gave up the solo home run to Bobby Witt Jr. to give Kansas City the 3-2 lead. Volpe then comes up with 2 on in the top of the 9th and gets the go-ahead 2 RBI single to win us the game 4-3. Game 2, we end up winning 15-1. We had another stellar performance, another quality start from Cam Schlittler. He ends up going 6 innings, giving up 4 hits, 0 walks, 1 run, and 6 strikeouts, bringing his season ERA to 1.50. Every single Yankee starter in the lineup had at least 2 hits in this game. And we had home runs from Bellinger, Volpe, Grisham, Jazz, and Rosario had 2. This was an absolutely dominant game from the Yankees from top to bottom. And in Game 3, we saw our ace back in action, Gerrit Cole, with his second start of the season, looking to build on his shutout from the Rays last weekend. And what does he do? He comes out, throws another 6.2 innings, 0 runs, 4 hits, 0 walks, and 10 strikeouts. This was an absolute vintage Gerrit Cole performance, and you love to see it. We also had 2 hit games from Grisham, Rice, and McMahon, who added a 2-run homer later in the game, and the Yankees win 7-0. This wasn't just a sweep. This was a statement, because the Yankees won a pressure game, a blowout, and a clean, pitching-dominant game. And that's the kind of versatility we've been waiting to see from this team. So what held in this series? Well, the offense finally created real margin. In Game 2, we scored 15 runs. Every single starter had 2+ hits. We had home runs from 5 different players. That is depth. That is lineup pressure. And that's what this offense is supposed to look like. That is the offense that has been put together by Brian Cashman to score runs. And they did. The second thing that held, the starting pitching was dominant. Again, Cam Schlittler, 6 innings, 1 run. Adding on an incredible season so far, another quality start, and it's no longer surprising to see Cam dominate on the hill. Then you've got Gerrit Cole, 6.2 innings, shutout, 10 strikeouts. It was just a classic Gerrit Cole performance. And honestly, the Yankees needed that emotionally just as much as physically. Because that's going to give Cole the confidence that he needs, knowing that he hadn't pitched in about a year and a half, and to come in and to go back-to-back games against the Rays and the Royals throwing 6 or more shutout innings, 2 strikeouts in the first game against the Rays, 10 strikeouts in this game. It was just such a beautiful thing to see. The third thing that held, the Yankees responded in Game 1. And this is huge because after losing the lead on the Bobby Witt homer in the 8th inning, other versions of this team might have folded. But instead, Volpe delivers the go-ahead 2 RBI single in the 9th, and that is growth. And that's another huge step for Anthony Volpe as well, as he looks to prove that he can stay on this Major League roster. So what didn't hold in this series? Well, honestly, there is not really a huge negative from this series. The only thing is the Yankees still briefly showed how quickly momentum can swing in games. Game 1 reminded us that the leads still feel vulnerable sometimes. We had a 2-0 lead in that game at one point. Then it was 2-2. Then all of a sudden in the 8th inning, our bullpen gives up the home run, and it's 3-2. And you're thinking, there's a chance that we could lose this game, like we've seen our bullpen blow games in the past. But unlike previous weeks, they answered it. So the question of, did they respond? Absolutely. This might have been the best response of the year so far. Because recently, we've had the bullpen problems, we've had blown leads, we've had offensive inconsistency, we've had fragile margins. That's all been a part of this team's story. But in this series, they pushed back hard. Because in Game 1, you have the 9th inning comeback. In Game 2, you have an absolute offensive avalanche. And then in Game 3, you've just got complete control throughout. And that's what responding looks like. This team hadn't scored more than 2 runs in almost a week before scoring the 4 runs in the first game on Monday. And if Anthony Volpe doesn't come up with that big hit in the 9th, that would have been another game of 2 or fewer runs. But he did. And it changed everything for this team. So that takes us to the turning point of this series, which is Anthony Volpe's 2 RBI single in the 9th inning. That is the moment. Because after Bobby Witt Jr. hits that home run, it feels like here we go again. It's another collapse, another tight game that we're going to lose. But instead, the Yankees answered immediately in the top of the 9th. And once they won that game, the entire momentum of the series shifted, and there was no looking back. It was absolute dominance from that moment forth. For our player performances, the positive, well, first of all, it's Volpe. It was a massive series for him. He had the clutch hit in Game 1. He had a home run in Game 2. But more importantly, it's confidence. The Yankees need him to be good. We've been talking about early in the season how the bottom of the lineup struggled. Nobody in the bottom half of the lineup was hitting over 200 until Caballero started coming on midway through April. Now, if you can find a way to have Caballero and Volpe both in the lineup and both producing at the plate, that's huge for this team. The other positive performances, you could go around. Bellinger had 2 home runs. The Cam Schlittler and the Gerrit Cole starts were phenomenal, as we've talked about. There was a lot of positive in this series. As for our concerns, I guess it's maintaining the offensive consistency. Because this series was great. But now the question becomes, can they sustain it? Because we've seen this offense explode and then disappear for long stretches. So it'll be interesting to see if we can continue that moving forward. And what's trending right now? The team's confidence. This felt different. It felt lighter, more aggressive, more comfortable. And that matters to this team. Because now they know we can do it offensively. We can do it with our pitching. There are multiple ways to win a game. And if a game is close, late, well, we've got guys who can come through when it matters most. That's huge. Every championship caliber team has that confidence and just knows that when the game is on the line, there will be somebody who can come through. As for our structural check, this series showed the best version of the Yankees. So what's aligned? Almost everything. The starting pitching dominance, the depth on offense, the late game response in game one, the bullpen recovery. You know, you blow the lead in the first game. You got Bednar coming in to close it out in the ninth. He's been shaky. He just shuts the Royals down. And then you've got multiple contributors throughout the lineup, throughout the pitching staff. It was just an awesome series to watch. So our biggest takeaway, this was the first series in a while where the Yankees consistently played with margin. And when the team has margin, everything changes because the bullpen can relax. It's not tight. The offense loosens up. Guys are hitting. There's no pressure. And that's the version of this team that they've been trying to become. So it was great to finally see that. And you know, like I said in the last episode, when the Yankees faced the Royals last time in New York, they swept them. It started a stretch of going 16-3. The Yankees won that last game against the Rays. They won these three. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. Hopefully we have another stretch of a long winning streak. So what do we learn from this series? Well, first and foremost, Gerrit Cole changes the feel of this team. And it's huge. And again, while you have Fried out especially, you need that 1-2 punch. And you have it with Cole and Schlittler. And when Fried comes back, you've got 3 ace caliber pitchers on this staff, which is going to be huge come October. That it matters immensely as far as run prevention. Your starters need to be able to put up zeros and go deep into games. Let the bullpen rest. Early in the season, we were using Brent Hedrick 3/4 of the games. So to not have to use the same guys over and over and to get 4 or 5 innings out of your bullpen over and over is huge. Second thing we learned, Schlittler is, again, another ace caliber pitcher. We've seen this time and time again now from him. I really think he is becoming part of the Cy Young conversation for this year. So hopefully this will continue for him, but he is the real deal. And the third thing we learned was the Yankees are at their best when contributions come from everywhere. Not just Judge and Rice, not just one big home run, but the full lineup pressure. We know that everybody on this team can hit. We just haven't seen it from most of them for most of the year. But when they do, this offense is scary good. To put up 22 runs in 2 games, pitching on opposing teams does not want to see that. For our trend lines, our starting pitching, it's been up all year. It continues to stay up. Our offensive confidence, after this barrage of runs and home runs, is soaring. Our team identity is finally starting to stabilize. Our bullpen confidence is definitely improving. It helps when there's no pressure on them. And the pressure that they did have on them in game 1, they answered to. And then our structural comfort is finally appearing. Being able to put up runs, have that margin, and just be able to play games loose and free instead of chaotic and tight makes a huge difference for this team. So what should we be watching for in the next series? Well, number 1, can they sustain the offensive pressure? That's the big question now. You're going to play the A's in a minor league ballpark. This offense should be able to continue to hit against their pitching staff. It should. Our offense is built to feast on below average pitching. So we should be able to continue this. We'll see if they can actually do it. Second thing to watch for, is this the beginning of Volpe's breakout? The last week or so, he has played really, really good baseball. He's looking confident. His swing looks good. He's getting big hits. So if this is the real deal, this changes a lot for this offense. So we'll be looking at that for this next series. And then the third thing is, can they keep building margin in games consistently? Because that version of the Yankees looks dangerous. So hopefully we continue to see this, especially against teams like the A's, who we're playing next. For our final verdict, this series looked like the version of the Yankees we've been waiting to see. Not perfect, but complete. Pitching, depth, power, response, and most importantly, like we've been saying all along, margin. Because for the first time in a while, the Yankees weren't just surviving games, they were controlling them. And that is the standard. Not just proving you can compete, but proving you can dictate the game on your terms. This is the standard with Brian Leavy.